What did your crush do that absolutely killed your interest? She was staring up a group for LGBT youth. I asked her why, and then realized I had been barking up the wrong tree. I'm dumb. She's a lesbian. I thought I had found the one. We were good as married in my mind. Told me he liked dating broken girls so he could fix them. See you later, boner. That's whack. I had an ex tell me that. She said that she liked dating guys with issues to try and fix them. Meanwhile she had a ton of issues. His sister actually approached me and let me know that he was once arrested for locking their other pregnant sister in their basement. Went on a coke binge while she desperately tried to get out, and went outside to beat their unsuspecting neighbor's van with a golf club. That was a big ol' nope. Sister's a legend BTW. It was really cool of her to tell me about all of that, and she actually continued to warn women about him even if some of the girls wouldn't listen and had to experience firsthand. She's really out here for her fellow females. It turns out he wasn't interested in girls, so I knew I had to kill my feelings or feel stupid for keeping them. At least you got to know about it. It's way better than being in the dark. Like in the closet. That's crushing. I would have hated to feel that. Kept arranging times to talk and whatnot, then always forgot or was not available. I've had the same thing happen to me. She would always text me and ask if I could chat at a certain time. Of course I would agree. Then when I call she would have her phone off or only answer 5% of the time. I really liked her too. So I was just like WTF. If you say you want to talk at so and so time, you know, answering the phone might help. Through my $2,000 laptop through my new big screen TV. What happened after that? I see. Thank you for your incredible insight. Which one broke though? TV, lappy or both? Being rude to the waiter and complain that food is taking too long during dinner rush hour. I work in the industry for a year. It's not easy when being slammed during rush. I will keep my mouth shut then. By that I mean even complaining to you, not the waiter. You can judge a person's character by how they treat those who can do nothing for them. This was years ago. On a first date, tried to convince me to quit my job and put all my savings into gold bars. Then demanded I let him read my tarot cards to see if we'd be a good fit. Nope, nope, nope. Another controlling type. Aye. It was such a bizarre combo of alt-right talking points and then a ton of woo. You usually don't find both kinds of ridiculous in the same person in the same hour. Huh. He invited me over to her place, not as a date thing, but just to hang out as friends. Her house was absolutely filthy and the glass of coke she gave me had a hair in it. She was really cute, had a great personality, and was a genuinely nice person. But as soon as I saw cat shit on the floor near the front door and just dirty everything, my crush disappeared and I left in a hurry. Yeah, haha. There's messy and then there's this. I am fine with mess and clutter. That stuff just needs tidying up. I cannot handle filth. This is absolutely filthy. Ross Geller? Talked non-stop about himself and his accomplishments and never asked me one question about myself. I experienced this. But he would ask me questions about myself and after one line from me, would take over the conversation and somehow direct the spotlight from my answer back onto himself, almost competitively. Went on a date with a guy similar to this, lol. He loved himself and whenever he asked me a question he would take my reply and tell me why I was wrong for thinking it, and then tell me his right version. Shit about every woman in his life. Should have seen the red flags earlier. Didn't realize until later that he probably did the same to me. Apparently having an opinion about anything and speaking for yourself isn't a very ladylike thing to do. He sounds totally not insecure. Told me that she didn't like me back anymore, but maybe if I waited long enough she would like me like that again. Very well said. Did she expect human feelings to work like nostalgia? Mayo, imagine laying awake at night knowing you lost to a cat. We're going on a date and when we were just next to the cinema she found her friend and she went with her instead. She probably told her friend to come to have an excuse to leave your date mate : Exactly, that was her out. Yep, that doesn't sound like a coincidence. worked together, and as I got to know him more I learned he talked badly about everyone. Nurses that are amazing he'd belittle. Talk about how certain people don't know what they're doing because they asked for an ultrasound IV as they were struggling getting a vein on a heroin addict. The paramedics were worthless. Doctors don't know what they're doing. Who he thought was hooking up, and it completely turned me off. He's in his early 40s and into gossip more than my teenage daughter. Gossipers are empty, hungry ghosts, filling the void inside. Gossip is the devil's telephone. Best to just hang up. Moira Rose. Ah yes, the know-it-all, a tech who finished half of medic school. Dude was the perfect epitome of the term douchebag. He used to be nice to people only to gain their trust and then betray them. He was attractive though and a smooth talker as well. We started talking, became friends, and I developed a crush on him. Unfortunately, I never knew then what type of double-headed snake he was. Then on one day I witnessed him throwing his best friend under the bus just to save his reputation. Completely lost interest. Cut ties with him and he gave no shit about it. Only then did I realize how toxic people can be sometimes. Edit. Grammar. English isn't my first language, so when I read one day I witnessed him throwing his best friend under a bus, my brain didn't immediately register that it was a thing. I thought he actually murdered his friend. English has some weird things. Doesn't every language? Turned out to be the person eating everyone else's food from the break room fridge. That shit's punishable by death. My sandwich. Girl in car behind him honked when the light turned green. He got out of the car and began screaming and banging on her windshield. That's when I knew he was a psycho and I needed to get out of that relationship. Took me a destroyed home and 2 restraining orders later, but we've been broken up for 3 years now. Edited for ARP's privacy. Gosh, sorry to hear that, but glad that you've seen the issue and got out of it. Where does she mention her kid? Comment is edited, so maybe the quote was from the original? Told me I wasn't attractive and that she could never possibly like me. Game over. Still better than keeping you around though. There are 2 ways to do it. 1. You are fucking ugly and nobody will ever love you. Okay. 2. Hey, you are a nice guy but I don't think we will work well. I think I'm looking for something else. Alright. Hey, you are a nice guy. This is no longer a compliment. Some neckbeards will take great umbrage. And there are plenty of women who have now co-opted it as an insult for those neckbeards. Best to just avoid that phrase entirely. Was 21 and in college. He was a classmate of mine. He seemed so charming and was easy on the eyes. One day I overheard him talking to his friends about how he doesn't date engineer women because math is for men. Edit. Some people are missing the point here. It's not that he said he wouldn't want to date an engineer that bothered me. It's that he said that women aren't meant for math. Sounds like a buddy of mine. Well, not entirely. He doesn't believe the last part about math being for men. But he wouldn't date someone who studies engineering, since he is also in the field. As an engineer who married another engineer, we can make anything. And the first thing you built was a better life together. Played Monopoly. That game brings out the absolute worst in people. Once while playing Monopoly, we had lost some of the pieces, so we had to use Cluedo pieces instead. Long story short, I won and my opponent got angry and stabbed me in the hand with a tiny dagger. That took a sharp turn. At least he got the point. Don't play Monopoly with anything sharp in close proximity. Light the back fence of the school on fire to impress a mate. Arson does tend to be a deal breaker. Attempted to get through a horror movie together and he kept letting the movie run, then rewinding the movie so that the horror never came. He pretended to be scared and would whine about the scare that was coming. I guess he thought this was a cute gesture and would refuse to continue. It dragged a 5-minute scene into a 45 minutes production of his own. No, but I'm scared. No, I don't want to. This is terrifying. This was a guy who told me that he loved horror movies. He was full of really weird contradictions. But this was the straw that broke the camel's back. What the yuck did I just read? So just before a scare he'd keep rewinding over and over saying he's too scared of what's coming up? Fuck that guy. I hate people talking. Never mind rewinding constantly. Then on the 6th rewind, the movie changes and the character knew exactly where the jump scare was. That's just super fucking weird. WTF. Slept with my dad. I would say motherfucker, but the term doesn't work here. Fatherfucker. Ignored me when somebody new and shiny came along. It's better than keeping you as a doormat, mate. Good phrasing. Picked me up for our first date and his car was disgusting. Not talking a few trash items. The entire backseat and floorboard was completely covered in piled up trash. Even up front, I had to step on empty McDonald's bags, old soda bottles, wrappers to even get in. And all he said was, just move it around with your feet. No sorry or anything. Made me feel like trash too. Like dang. Couldn't even clean up a little? But you're the goblin queen? Hey man, even goblins have standards. This shit is wild. Like I clean everything a date might see if we're going out. My car. My apartment if we might come back. Literally anything I need to. How people do this is beyond me. Edit. Some of y'all seem to think cleaning means that I live in filth or lying about my cleanliness habits. Stuff falls behind guys and gals. Relax. I had a crush on a girl and every time I would try to ask her out she said I'm not looking for someone right now. I understood. But the next day she would hook up with some random the next day. So I gave up try. I found a woman, dated for 4 years, then got married to her. Then a month after I was married she wanted to know if I still wanted to hook up, but politely told her I'm not interested and married. She gave up after she saw my wife.